What's going on, everybody? Sorry for the delay. I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. Yeah, unfortunately, today's one of them days where everything's happening like back to back to back. I'm gonna, be doing the show. Then we got the Nick game at 1 o'clock, and I gotta run out right before the Nick game to come back to watch the Nick game, and then I'm running out after the Nick game. So it's just I had to make sure I had a couple things in order, so that way, as soon as I finish recording, I could just get out of here. You know what I mean? So thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Um, I see Drip Moore's in the building. Walter Blackman Jr. is in the building. Cully was good, my dude. Pudge Nice is here. Osaduke. Andrew K is in the building. D is Ballin's in the building. Pete Panagiotopoulos is in the building. What's going on, Pete? Keith Turner is here. What's going on? Salute to y'all. Salute. King Ribby, I see you. What's going on, brother? Let me put this in the joint here. Let's see. Yeah, man. So why do I feel like this is a little crooked, a little off kilter here? I don't know. Maybe I'm off. Could be. Either way. Yeah, man. I think this is a time that we've got to make. I mean, not us, but the front office has to make some decisions. Now we officially eliminated, so we knew this was coming. And this is one of the reasons why I said to people before that, don't worry so much about tanking and everything, because it really doesn't matter. If your team is in trouble, they're struggling, they have some issues, them issues ain't going away. No matter how good the Knicks have been playing in these last 2 weeks, a week and a half, whatever you want to call it, there's still issues that they've had that have been with the team throughout this whole time. And so it's already made enough of an impact on their season. So it's tough to rebound from that. And then whenever you make any little mistake that affects your outcome of a basketball game, it just piles on and compiles, and it's too late for a lot of stuff. So it was nice that they try to make a little run, though. I'm with that. And it's good to also, play to win games. So hopefully we'll see some good basketball in these last couple games, and get to see these young players. Maybe, I don't know, how Tibbs is thinking or how Johnny Bryant is thinking. Especially, I mean, I would love to see Johnny Bryant stay with this team. I don't know if he'll still be here, but if he's still going to be here, I would like them to see if they could open up the offense a little bit, try a couple different things for some of these young guys, maybe try a couple things and experiment with Mitch in these last couple games. You know what I mean? I think that would help Mitch a lot. As far as somebody who's going to be a free agent and deciding whether or not he wants to come back to the Knicks or not, if we want him, let Mitch get a little wild out there. Take a couple little mid-range jumpers or something, maybe shoot a three, get him in space. Like, let's just see what Mitch can do. Maybe, if he gets ripped, if he puts it on the floor and gets ripped, okay, but let him have an opportunity to do something these next couple games just to see how his game might be able to grow or develop, or give him a little bit of, hey, man, we know we've kind of locked you down and not allowed you to be too free with your game. Here, do your thing, man. So I don't know. I just think that that's something they should think about doing. It may be too late, but it's worth a shot if they want to keep Mitch. So we'll see, man. I saw something earlier today. I don't know if it's true or not. Something about the Knicks not wanting to lock up RJ in this offseason. I don't know. I look at it like you're playing with fire when you do stuff like that. I think RJ really loves New York and doesn't want to go anywhere, and understands that we've been through a lot here and they're trying to figure it all out. So I think he's the type that's like, oh, they'll take care of me. The only problem is, like, RJ, say what you want, he's a terribly inefficient player sometimes, and he has slow starts to seasons and all that stuff, but he's getting better every year. His numbers are getting better every year. His overall play is getting better every year. So who's to say what he's going to do next year? And if he continues to get better, that price tag, he's definitely going to want the max. That's without question. But he might say, depending on how the Knicks are moving, I don't know. I want the max, and I'm gonna get the max no matter where I go. Well, that's not true. Well, if he becomes, they get him to the point where I guess it goes past this year. I don't know. Does he become unrestricted? I'm not sure. I would have to look into that. But if that was the case, then he could get the max anywhere. But I don't know. I don't know what would happen with that. I don't think RJ would just feel turned off by how the Knicks are playing, doing the negotiating thing, that he's like, nah, I'm out. But I still think you're playing with fire. Well, we'll see what happens. Anyway, let's chop it up and get into it right after this. Yep. Salute once again to the chat. Stephen Fox is in the building. I see you. Let me do this, make it easier for everybody. Brooklyn Buddha, what's up? Jay Boogie, what's going on? Appreciate you. Stephen Fox is in the building. I mentioned Pete, and I mentioned D is bowling. Hewlett Samuel, aka Wadadley, is in the building. What's going on, man? Eric Surreal, what's good? Jeremy Nussbaum is here. What's going on, Jeremy? How you doing, man? Wayne Peterson, what's going on? What's good? Black University, what's up? Salute. Yes. Oh, and you know, if I didn't mention Marvin already, once again, Marvin is in the building. What's going on, Marvin? Yeah, so this show is going to be, like I said, a little, it's a little crazy. The stuff going on today. Knicks play at 1, so I'll probably take this to around 12:30. A little bit abbreviated show, but definitely appreciate you guys for tuning in. And the off season is coming, so content is going to change a little bit. We'll figure out what's the best way to do things, but obviously, without the Knicks playing in the season, we won't be talking about the same old stuff all the time. So we'll figure that out. But yeah, I was just thinking about it, and I know people have been talking about it already with the press conference. I saw Guillermo's show last night, Legion of Knicks. Salute to him. If you guys haven't already checked out Guillermo's Legion of Knicks show, definitely do. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. He gives you tons of good content. He does a weekly show, which was what I was watching last night. He also has watch-alongs. Well, not watch-alongs. I'll say, yeah, I guess it is a watch-along, yeah, where he will, watch along with the Knicks games. He does some college stuff too now. And I think, I'm not sure if he's doing the UNC Duke game today, but he might be. So if you guys are interested in watching along to that game, Guillermo might be doing that. And that's a great game, man. I hate watching UNC versus Duke. If you guys don't know, man, I'm a big Duke fan. Let me calm down. I'm not as big of a Duke fan as I used to be. I'll be honest. I don't watch a lot of the Duke games nowadays the way I used to watch them in previous years. There's different players. It's a lot to go through. Like college basketball it's a ride, man. Like you got to be all in, and I'm just not as invested as I used to be with other stuff going on. But I used to love Duke, man. I go back to the Bobby Hurley days, Grant Hill, Christian Laettner, Brian Davis. My favorite player on the Duke Blue Devils back then was surprising because at this time they had Grant Hill, Hurley, Leitner, Brian Davis. They had other few players on the team that people liked, but those were the main guys. But my favorite player was a lefty by the name of Thomas Hill. He was so smooth with his game, man. I was like, oh, this dude is the truth. I don't know why what it was, but I gravitated to that dude. I was like, yo, this is going to be the guy. When he gets in the NBA, man, he's going to take the world by storm. He's going to be my favorite player. And guess what? Didn't happen. He was one of those guys that never turned out to have an NBA career. I was like, are you kidding me? If any of y'all remember college basketball back in that day, you know, the Duke team was raw, man. Then you had the Michigan, the Fab Five. You had UNLV with Anderson, Hunt, damn it, Anderson, Hunt, Greg Anthony, Larry Johnson. My memory sucks, man. Don't blame me, guys. I'm not sure if Stacey Augmon was on that team too. He might have been. I'm not sure. But y'all can correct me in the chat if y'all remember that UNLV team. I know it was Larry Johnson. I know it was Greg Anthony. I know it was Anderson Hunt. And I think Stacey Augmon was there too, if I'm not mistaken. But that team was bananas too. And Anderson Hunt, to me, was like the best player on that team. Guess what, guys? Anderson Hunt never had a promising NBA career either. This happens, man. This happens, man, a lot. Even with the Fab Five, Jimmy King. I thought Jimmy King was a baller. Never had a promising NBA career. You only heard about the Chris Webbers, the Juwan Howards, the Jalen Roses of the world. I guess that's how life works, man. That's how basketball is. But anyway, went on a quick little Duke tangent there. Where was I? Salute once again. D Nice, I see you. Sincere the Genius is in the building. IQJ, what's going on? Yeah, man. I'm gonna try to make this. E. Gibson, what's going on? I'm gonna try to make this as not. I don't want it to be one-sided. I want it to be positive in both respects. You know, we could talk about the downsides of Julius Randle, the positives to getting rid of Julius Randle, but let's also talk about the positives of Julius Randle, what Julius Randle did for our Knicks team, what type of value he has as an NBA player, and what you lose out on. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, I want it to be as fair as possible because there's a lot going on and things definitely could have been handled differently. It just hasn't worked out the way we would like it to work out. So it is what it is. Knicks Worldwide, what's up? Mark Butler, what's going on? Ashley Inc., to see you. Let's start off with this. First off, let's tackle the thing that was inevitable. The Knicks getting officially eliminated from playoff contention. We knew it was coming. I know there was a lot of fans. I'm not a lot of fans, but there was some fans that had a lot of hope that maybe they'd be able to do something, you know, wild in the last 2 weeks to maybe, you know, get in there somehow. But it was too much of a hill to climb, man. They put themselves in such a bad position that it was too much to dig out of. But kudos to them for trying to play some good basketball down the stretch. It's just sad that you know, they can't get out of their own way. The Knicks are. We all know they're a tough team to root for, but they just, for whatever reason, there's so many different things that happen throughout the course of a season that they can't get out their own way. I mean, we loved last season, right? I mean, they won 41 games. They got the 4th seed, but there was so many different things that took place last year that I'm not taking anything away from the Knicks, but just understand there's so many different things that worked in their favor, considering how the season was going. The season was not incredible by any stretch of the imagination early. Like, it was a struggle season. And you got no fans, people dealing with this situation. You got teams that were still rebuilding and in flux. You got other teams, veteran teams or mid-tier teams that were looking to make a move, but last year wasn't the year. You know, teams like Chicago and stuff that wanted to retool and bring in different types of talent. Last year was 1 year too early for them. This year was the year where a lot of teams said, okay, we're going to make these moves. We had a really good draft, a lot of good players. Let's go start doing this, and that. You know, so last year was a real comfortable year for the NBA as far as there wasn't much going on. So if you wanted to make a move, that was a good time to do it. And then no pressure from no fans in the stands and things of that nature. It turned out to work out really well for the Knicks. It was a perfect storm. And, you know, also, I said it before, they bought into Tom Thibodeau's system after not having a true identity for so many years. Thibodeau coming in and influencing them the way he did, like that breath of fresh air. Because you know what it is? It's like a new car smell or a pair of new sneakers. Once you get them, you're like, oh, man. But once you break them in, things start to get a little different. But that first year was, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. It turned out to be really good. And the Knicks got extremely hot down the stretch. You take away that hot streak, the season turns out much different. They don't make the 4th seed, obviously. And we don't know what we're talking about. We don't know who we're looking at with this team. But that hot stretch that they had was incredible. So yeah. So I kind of like to look at the Knicks in a 2-year window, not just this year, because this year was really bad compared to last year. But you got to understand it. Like, if it wasn't for that hot stretch towards the end of the season, these 2 years won't be the same, but they're a lot more similar. I didn't get my proverbial drink of the Joe or Joanne. So that's something I just want people to kind of keep in mind and think about. Salute to Margaret Edwards. I see you. Thank you for tuning in. As always, Robert Bruce, what's going on? Sherwin M, what's good? So that's what I want you guys all to consider. This team had a lot of issues and still does have a lot of issues. The other thing is, when we didn't really know who was going to step up and be this team's leader, you know, Julius had decided to sign on with us a year before, and people didn't want him really because we wanted something, you know, flashier. Obviously, we wanted a big name star. But it wasn't in the cards. We couldn't get one at the time. No one was. I guess people were still not sure about wanting to come to New York and deal with everything that comes along with being a New York Knick. Fans are brutal, but they are. Some fans are really brutal, man. I think they definitely are. But you know, for the most part, you know, fans love rooting for our New York Knicks team. We want a good product. We want to salute. We want to root for them. We want to see them do really good things. So those aren't the fans that I think you really got to worry about. Those are the fans that are the ones that people listen to, because when we're fed up, we're fed up. But the idiots that say stupid stuff and attack families and talk about dumbness. Oh, you're wearing 2 different colored shoes. You're a bum. Like, who cares about those fans? You know what I mean? But it's just it's the fans that really do respect you and respect your game, that once they get pushed to a point where, like, you've done so much and, you know, we can't deal with it, we don't want to see this anymore, that's when you have a little bit of an issue. And I think that's where Julius is right now. Let me get my boy D in here, see if he is doing good on this Saturday.
Yo,
boss, how you doing, bro?
what's good, Ron? How's everything?
I can't complain, man. I can't complain. Everything's okay, bro. Just trying to get my Saturday going. A lot of stuff on the docket, and just want to make sure that everything turns out well. And I would love to see the Knicks win a basketball game today. It always puts me in good spirits. So,
Okay.
How's everything with you? Good though?
Everything's all good. Listen, it's a beautiful Saturday after the game. People should go out, enjoy the fresh air for a bit, and then get ready for the Final Four stuff. I think that'll be a nice recipe for a great Saturday. A win or lose should always be blessed that you got your arms, legs, and stuff of that nature. And
Right.
just no, seriously, just and just make the best out of each day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, my Saturday is jam packed, man. I got, like I said, I got doing the show, got to run a couple errands, watch the Knicks, got to do some more stuff after that. Then I'm going to the movies, watching Morbius. I'm recording the Duke game, gonna watch that when I come. Like, this is so much stuff going on today. So much stuff.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
So, yeah, man. So, I mean, my whole thing is, how do you feel about Julius Randle, the basketball player? Forget the antics and the stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think about like what he has meant to the New York Knicks coming here when we've struggled to find someone who wants to come here, and just that mindset of him coming here and doing what he's done so far?
It's been rocky at best. A lot of it's been not like a gray area with him. Like it's either been pretty low, it's been high, and it's been low.
Right.
But all antics aside, you don't score, you don't average 18 points a game, 10 rebounds, 5 assists throughout your career, and you're a bum. He's far from it.
Right.
That's not the problem. And we already know what the problem is. So he's a player in this league, okay? And not many could do it, and especially how he does it, 6'9", 250, how he goes about his game. Doesn't have the greatest handle, but still at that position to even have a handle and get to your spots it's very respectable. Rebounding has never been an issue for him. He's always rebounded the ball well. So he brings a lot of great things to a team, and we all know that's not the problem. We know what's inside is the issue, and him being able to not only manage himself but also manage the situation as well, involving how he incorporates himself with the teammates and how he decides if he is going to be a leader, and if that's something that he wants, he does have to understand that X, Y, and Z does come with that, and that you have to carry that out professionally, especially for yourself, for your family, for your team around you that's building the product of Julius Randle, right?
Right.
And also your organization as well and your teammates.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think that the thing with regards to Julius is just that the front office didn't do well by him. Maybe they thought they did, but they didn't do well by him, and put him in a couple of situations where his game could struggle a little bit by making him continue to take on a certain level of the load for the Knicks. That, of course, I know the most improved season was great and it looked good, but he did some things in that season too where you question it. There's some stuff with regards to how he used to get himself in the problems by over dribbling and then doing his little spinorama thing, which he's gotten away from for the most part. It's not as bad as it used to be, but that was one of the things that was part of his game. Like, and then when you pressure him, he gets into a lot of trouble because he doesn't read as quickly as he should and react. So these things are issues that I don't think at this point are really changing, right? You can do things to kind of disguise them and put him in a situation where maybe you say, hey, yo, when Julius gets doubled, this is what's going to possibly happen. So let's try to do things and move the ball around Julius. Let's get Julius into a pattern of saying, hey, you know what? This is how the offense is flowing. So he doesn't necessarily have to react to what he sees all the time. because in the offense, we're already saying, oh, we only want the guys to hold the ball this amount of time, this many seconds, and we've got to move it. We got to move it. You don't have something right then and there, move the ball. So he
Right.
has like an idea of that already going on in his head. So he doesn't have to necessarily react to what he sees all the time, even though he will anyway. That's what you have to do as an NBA player. Like things like that, having a point guard here so that Julius doesn't have to have the ball in his hands all the time would definitely eliminate some of that problem. Being able to bring more consistent shooting on the team, possibly bringing in a stretch big who can open up the floor so there's more spacing so that the the defense can't bog down and try to double team a guy like Julius and put him in that position as much. All these things affect what the defense is going to do. And if you do some of this stuff, Julius doesn't have to think as much. Yeah, they're going to catch him here and there, but it won't be as frequent as we are now. And let's not forget, as far as shooting goes, we have been shooting the basketball much better throughout the second half of the season, definitely towards the end of the season. But the first half, we were horrible shooting the back. You know how many 3-point shots we missed? You saw what was going on, man. It was bad. So this has been a tough one, a tough season for everything to come together the right way. Now, what I wanted to say is, I think that outside of those things, obviously we know the mental part, which we can kick around for hours. Julius, just for whatever reason, he can't hold it together anymore. There's a lot of pressure going on.
It's not totally his fault.
Right.
And we talked about this yesterday on the show, on the KMD, where Tom has the blame in that. We know Tom is not the best X and O's guy, right? So can he be at least a good manager of personalities, of team chemistry? Can he be? I use the word shyster, which if you ever seen Get Shorty, the movie, that's what John Travolta's character was called. He was the handler of the accounts for his boss. Is he a good handler? No. So Julius, I understand Julius is 27, 28. We all have to remember, well, us older guys, we have to remember what we were at 27 to 28 years old. And personally, I was out of control at 27, 28 years old. I was all over. So just imagine the guy that's making $100 million, stuff like that. You need a great team around you. You need guys that can support you real well, keep you grounded, keep you guided on the right path and stuff like that. So I think Tom, and I think the front organization too, did a very bad job of that as well. And I think one of the indictments of that is when he didn't show up for press conferences for a couple of weeks, they paid his bill. And that's enabling. How many guys we know that they're spoiled because mommy and daddy do everything for them and they continue acting like a bunch of jerks because mommy and daddy always going to look them out. So I felt like that type of behavior enables guys to continue to act that way. And New York, the organization didn't do anything to try to diffuse that situation, at least by my optics. And I think that was pretty relevant on the court as well. So,
yeah, I'm with you on that. Let me just put this up real quick. We can talk over it. This is kind of similar to what the thumbnail is for today's show.
Okay.
So I just want this to be known because this is a question. John and I had this on the show a couple days ago, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. I don't know. But he was curious to see what Julius Randle's numbers look like from that first season compared to his numbers this year. He thought they might be very similar, and they are very similar. In 2019, he averaged 19.5 points, 3.1 assists, 9.7 rebounds.
Yeah.
He shot 73% from the free throw line, 27% from three, 46% from the field. Now, 46% from the field was pretty damn efficient. I think we'll take that from Julius any day of the week. But that 27% from three was kind of rough. And then 2020 we saw the jump. I mean, 2020, 45% from the field, 41% from three, 81% from the free throw line, averaging 10.2 rebounds, 6 assists, 20.
Oh, he was stellar.
Oh man, that was a phenomenal season. But then that brings us to this season. This is where that first season and third season look eerily similar.
Yeah.
He averaged 20.1 points so far. I don't know if he's going to play another game for the rest of the season, but you know,
Should not.
I doubt he can. Even if he did, I doubt he can make much of a dent in these final numbers. So,
Yeah.
20.1 points, 5.1 assists, 9.9 rebounds, 75%, 75.6 from the free throw line, 30.8 from three, and 41.1% from the field. You know, and that's the statement there is Julius Randle may not want to leave, but the Knicks may, you know, they have to move on from him anyway. Yeah, you know, I think that I think the biggest thing with Julius right now, as far as his game, I don't think honestly he can't really do too much to change how he plays. Like this is who he is. He would have to be a little smarter with regards to handling the basketball and trying to make smarter decisions to limit the turnovers. But you know, how can he really do that when he's in a certain situation that Thibodeau puts him in, and we don't have a true point guard? So that's tough to ask, right? The only thing I will say that I think Julius could have done better this year and probably could do better going forward is get down in the box more, get closer to the basket to improve that field goal percentage, which he's very good at. I mean, historically, these are just these 2 seasons with the Knicks, but historically, Julius has been damn good in the paint, scoring the basketball.
That's not true, sir, but that's okay.
Oh no, I'm not talking about his first years with the Lakers, or I meant like the year before with New Orleans before we got him. Okay. Like if you look at his overall numbers, that you combine them together, his high point over his career is high. Let me I'm gonna get that. I can't pull it up, but
I'll help you, and if we can go with it, and we can help each other, right? So what we could do is, because you know we want to be truthful with our information, right? We don't want to bring out any narratives that might paint somebody in a picture that's not true, right? So let's do it, right?
Yeah, because I think when I saw his numbers from the field, he was shooting pretty good from the field.
So Julius Randle has only had 2 seasons where he has shot 61%, over 61% from around the restricted paint area. And that was his last Laker year. He actually shot a very good 69% off 582 attempts. And then the New Orleans year, he shot 564 attempts. It was at a respectable 66%. But everything else from that has been in the 60s, high 50s.
I see what you're saying. Okay. I get what you're saying, D, but I think, you know, where we're looking at Julius, we're looking at him through different lenses. Your value for his production in the paint is more of on a big man scale of when you're down low, like the type of efficiency that a guy of his stature, you know, being a power forward or a center type would have.
Well, let me flip it on you. No. So okay, let me flip it on you, right? I'm concerned that he's 6'9", 250 pounds, and there's guards in this league that finish better than him at 6'2", 6'3". That's where I'm getting at.
I see your point. Yeah, because you know what? When I was looking at his numbers, I'm looking at him shooting overall 47% from the field, and I'm looking at his game now, and to me, I think that's a good number because he's like a jump shooter now. But I see your point. That's a very good point. Yeah, because technically, you know, for what he is and what he's should be doing more of, his numbers in the paint.
And another thing too, and that's something that me and Sim were jousting back and forth last week.
Right.
Where he was bringing up like an overall field goal percentage, which is cool. I mean, and I get your point, but you also have to understand that in those years in which he was doing that, he wasn't playing with the first unit. So you got to keep that in mind. And his minutes were limited. He wasn't playing as many minutes. So, and he was playing a lot of minutes with second units and stuff like that. So
I just wanted to say, I also think that he's more of a jump shooter now than he ever was before. Like he had more mid-range and he was more explosive athletically to the rim. So he did more of that. Now
Yeah.
he's like a much more of a jump shooter. So yeah, I
Very
see
true.
your point. I see
Yeah,
your
very
point.
true. Yeah, and throughout his career, like if you go short mid, long mid, and if you go to quarter, non-corner, and stuff like that, you know, he's had certain years where you'll see certain things, but unfortunately for him, the cons do outweigh the pros with it, and that's why I throw out that he's not always. I say inefficient because he's not always efficient. So if you're not always efficient, I would say that you are an inefficient player, even if you do it once upon a time or a couple of times within your career. So
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. I guess that's the difference between Julius Randle being a number 1 or a number 2 option on this Knick team. You know, that inefficiency rears its ugly head a lot, and that's what scares me sometimes when I think about RJ. Because I know RJ can be terribly inefficient at times, and we know,
yeah.
you know, he's a slow starter, so that does worry me. And I
And
think,
one more thing,
oh, go ahead.
one more thing, right? And shout out to Stephen Fox. He always brings this up to me. When you have 5 assists and 4 turnovers, that drops your. If you do the math, it drops your production down, and also
Right,
your points per game are not the same. And all of a sudden, you get what I'm saying. So you also have to put that into the pot too. Very important
right.
pot that people seem to gleam over.
Yeah, no, that's true. You ain't lying about that. Max Callie, what's going on, Max? Max said he gets double teamed more now. Yeah, he does. But you know, part of that too is also the not only the type of basketball player that he is. You know, Julius is very aggressive in all his movements, but also Julius has grown in size over the years. So the past 2.5 years, you know, Julius is, you know, bigger, a little more, you know, more muscular. So he's more of a physical presence, and he does dominate some guys. So now the double teams are a lot more warranted. You know, I was looking at which I'm going to show in a little bit. I was looking at some highlights of younger Julius. It's a difference. Go ahead,
Yeah.
D.
Oh, real quick, that with the double team thing, I didn't want to stray too far, but you have to understand the best way to beat a double team is to be able to see the floor in order to create disadvantages so the team pays for making the double team. So 2 examples of that. Joel Embiid, early in his career, he used to double team a lot more. And throughout the years, he got a lot better at reading the double. And now you see him making cross-court swing passes and stuff like that. It's hard to double him now because
Right.
he's so adept at reading the defense. The same thing with Nikola Jokic. Here's the rule on Jokic. Don't double Jokic because he will murder you and make you
Yeah.
pay for it. It's best off him going one-on-one with that guy. So
Yeah.
that's
You
the thing.
can't
That's the thing with
double
double
him.
teams. So that's the thing with double teams. So okay, I understand he's getting doubled, and that's a respect thing. That's great that a team would create a whole defensive scheme to bring another guy in order for you to make a decision. But I think it's come a point in time where Julius has seen enough double teams. I think the coaching staff has seen enough double teams where they can better allocate as to how they're going to handle that double team when it presents itself.
Right, right. And Keith Turner said everybody's not meant to be a leader. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Everybody ain't built for it. That's very true. But you know what?
But he signed
I'm
up
with
for
you
it,
on that.
though.
Yeah. But even that, D, like, even if you don't, if like that's not how you necessarily see yourself, your mentality has to be of that. Okay, I'm not the leader, but I'm not gonna be a negative to the team. I'm gonna let somebody else lead, because if I'm not the leader, somebody else got to do it, right? And I gotta support that person. If
Mhm,
RJ is stepping up and he's starting to grow into his role, I gotta follow RJ and rock with him. If
mhm.
Obi, who's behind me, is starting to ball out and play good, and the second unit is moving well, and they're following what Obi's doing, I gotta support Obi. That's what I'm missing from Julius. Julius has that
That's a great
mentality.
point, bro.
I don't want to be the leader, but I want all the star, you know, stardom and everything that comes along with it. I want the accolades. I want to be the man, but I just don't want to be in control of you following me. Don't look to me for answers. I'm not, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that. That's to me
And
is where I
and
see
to veg you
Julius.
back what you're saying, like let's say for example, right? He signed up, right? And he tried his best, and it didn't work out. Now it comes to a point where you have to relinquish that now. And that's to what you're saying now. Where it's like, you know, when you relinquish that, it's like, okay, now if RJ's doing it, let me acquiesce now. Okay, no problem. You know what? I tried it. I saw it was. But I think the problem is that he has a hard time of letting that go, knowing that he didn't do the job well. So it's like, you know, what could I? You can't have your cake and eat it.
Right. Cully says, I'm done with the Randle experiment. Before I wanted to get him a point guard, but after this season with the outbreaks and the attitudes and the fighting after losses, I'm good. No, plus I fear a point guard can't be a point guard here. Ooh, that's interesting. With the current set of players and with Julius being here, that's a very good question to ask, because we all know that whoever would come here, Julius would have to respect them, because we already see how Julius is acting with his current team in certain moments. So how would that fare when you bring somebody else, an outsider, in that's supposed to be, controlling the situation that he's got? Like, I don't know, and that's why it's a question whether or not he should be here or not. The other thing is, I was gonna ask you, D. This is an interesting question. I don't know if you even know off the top of your head.
So cool.
How many star players won a championship that weren't leaders on their team? Like,
that's a toughie.
You know what I mean?
Trying to think.
I was just thinking about it right now. So
it depends on the context you put it, because all right, let's throw like Michael Jordan and Pippen, right? Like I would consider Scottie Pippen a star player. Was Scottie Pippen a leader or one of the leaders? Like how would you do that?
No, I would say Pippen was a leader on the team. Jordan was the A1 leader, but Pippen was
he's Jordan a
leader. Yeah. So the leader mentality, they would take on that role. So that's anybody like that. So when I think about it, on the flip side of it is, who's a really good player that I thought didn't want to be a role model, didn't want to be a leader, and was a terribly, not terribly, that's not the word I was looking for. He was a great player and very efficient. Never won a championship. Charles Barkley. He didn't want that leadership role. He didn't want to be a role model. He didn't want you to look to him, but he played his game the way he was supposed to and did fantastic things out there on the court. Never got the championship. So I was just curious. I was wondering if there's any guys that didn't take on that leadership role that actually won a championship like that. I don't know.
See, but it depends too, because like, say for example, it's a team of like you, me, John, and Jose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say you're better than everybody, right? And Jose acts out of character, but John goes ahead and checks him, and John is your third best player on the team. I'm just throwing this out there.
Right. I got you.
No figure.
I see where you're going.
Would you consider him a leader because he's following the example, right, of what it is, of what our best player expects for the team? So
yeah,
you have to break it down like that in order to. But to answer your question, no, I can't think of too many off the top of my head.
Right. I would say that, yeah, to me, that shows leadership quality, because it shows accountability. You're trying to hold someone else accountable for how they're acting, which if you're holding someone else, then I would assume that you would do the same for yourself as far as your own accountability. I don't necessarily see that from Julius either. Visions had put something in the chat. I think he said Kevin Durant. Yeah, KD is not a leader. I agree. And guess what? The only championship KD won was when he joined a group of leaders with the Golden State Warriors. So that points to what I'm trying to say, but I'm not saying that that's the end all be all. There might be somebody out there who wasn't a leader that won a championship. I was just thinking about it. It's just a good question. I might have to do some research after this to find out, because now I'm curious. Yeah, but that's interesting to me, because I think leadership qualities are huge if you're trying to take a team to the next level, because you got talent and you got skill set, good coaching, but there's always that extra added element that gets a team over the hump. Milwaukee could have easily lost last year and not won the championship, but they had that little extra something that allowed them to fight through. I mean, we see the type of leader Giannis is. Giannis was hurt. We didn't even know if he was going to be able to play in the playoffs. This dude came back hurt, or whatever. I don't know what he did. Maybe they shot him up with the Lawrence Taylorson, serum that he had back in the days, and this guy balled out of control. So, like, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, it's just, I think that's a huge quality.
Well, I think also too, when you continue going your research to find that, you also want to ask yourself too, what are the qualities of what makes a leader on a team?
Right.
It could be described in many different ways. It doesn't have to be a set criteria. So,
and the other thing is, what I think some of these guys can get away with is that some of these stars don't have to necessarily be the leader, but they got to have a strong leader that's on the team with them. So at least if he's not the guy, there's somebody on the team that everybody follows. Like, even if you want to look at the Golden State Warriors, Draymond Green is not the star, but he's the leader on that team.
So he's the alpha, without a doubt.
Yeah. Sometimes he does some wild stuff, but people know, like, his heart's in the right place, and he tries his best to get good opportunities for the rest of his players on the team and put them in the right spots to learn and get better on. He's definitely a leader.
Yeah. So I guess the question before a leader, because, like, it could go to so many different segments, right? The question you want to ask is then, to simplify it, is who's the alpha?
And that's where we run into a little issue. I think the alpha is the guy in waiting. He hasn't taken control of it yet, because he's got his own. And that's why I love him. I love RJ because he's I think RJ's smart, man. He knows that I'm not where I want to be yet for me to say this, and that to anybody on this team. But he knows that. And that's what I like about him. He has his own internal accountability. Like, he has goals that he sets for himself. But I think that once he reaches these goals and his play becomes more consistent, I think you definitely will see the shift change. No matter who's on this team, RJ will be that guy. But we'll see. I
think from even lately what we see, I think IQ even fits into that mode as well.
No, IQ definitely has it. He has it. I just don't know where it's going to come from, because I still don't know what IQ is yet. He's looking a little better as a PG. I don't love it because it's not the typical type of PG I want from the team, but that doesn't mean it can't work out. Like, IQ could next year, he could be balling. He could be like, oh man, who knew we had this? And look, it turned out to work out. Because sometimes the other thing I was going to say real quick, because this goes in so many different scenarios and variables. This team looks like they need a true point guard, right? But it's also the combination of players we got on the team. We could flip up and change maybe 2 or 3 players next year that play differently. They have a different IQ, no pun intended. And then they're playing with IQ. IQ's upping his level and understanding basketball even better. And it works perfectly. Like, sometimes it's the mix of players that, you work with what you got.
The mix of coaching staffs too. Where they go ahead and they challenge these guys to, play with better IQ and EQ too on the court as well. And depending on what type of schemes they run, exploring all those different options and finding out things about guys' games that you could further expand on and stuff of that nature. And those are, it's very good that you bring that up, because a lot of that stuff's missing from this team that we just don't have. It seems to be just like a straight way of doing everything. And it's like, that's not life, bro.
No.
And sometimes you gotta jab, but sometimes you gotta dip and dive. You gotta work the right hook, and depending on the fighter, you have to work different styles in order to exploit the weaknesses. You gotta do different things, and I think that's something that's suffering from this team big time.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. That's definitely something we haven't been able to solve in years. Salute to C-Mac, you troll. What's going on? I swear D.S. Ballin was born at the womb with basketball reference by his side at all times. Oh, man, listen. Smart people continue to be smart, man. That's all I got to say about that. Salute to, I just saw, okay, well, I brought you up, but salute to you, Visions. Appreciate you. Thank you for joining on. Toch is in the building. What's going on? D-Rose will be our point guard next season, so no worries. Well, you know what? I mean, that for the most part, it could be a possibility, but the other thing is, don't forget, D-Rose next year is another year of age for D-Rose, another year on them legs. It's just,
and went through another injury and also making $15 million a year. Hey, C-Mac, I didn't need basketball reference for that one.
What's going on, Brahim? Salute. Good to see you. Jay Ellis in the building. What's going on, bro? Good to see you, man. Yeah, like this is the thing. I
Piece
see
of
that.
JL, by the way, bro.
Yeah, I see you said, okay, I feel like Paul Pierce was the best player on the Celtics, but KG was the leader.
No argument.
I could agree with that. And then KG was a very good player in his own right. So like sometimes it works out where you do get that same mix, but you're right. Paul Pierce was the truth on that team, and they had a really good player in him. Excuse me.
Yeah, you always count how many clutch baskets Pierce had through those runs and stuff like that, even before those runs too.
William Luca Jr., what's going on? Salute to you. Dirk wasn't a leader on Dallas when he won a chip, should I say, but the leader on that team was between Kidd and Tyson. I could say that is okay. So this is where D was right when you have to kind of break down what you see in a leader. And the thing about it is, you're right. People followed Kidd and they followed Tyson on that team because of Tyson's defensive play, how he orchestrated the defense, Kidd's offensive play, how he orchestrated the offense and defense as well. But you know what I mean? Like they had leaders on both aspects, both realms. But the thing about Dirk is he wasn't a hindrance and he didn't hurt the team. He was objective in his play. He took accountability, but there was no issues with Dirk. You didn't say, yo, what's Dirk doing over there punching a wall, or Dirk's yelling at the guy on the side. Dirk didn't do any of that. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're not a leader, you have to take accountability for your own actions. And also, if you see something on the team, just be ready to step up and say, that's not right, Lo. You can't be doing that. Lo. This is the goal. Let's cut that out. Like, that's all I'm asking. Julius doesn't have to say anything to anybody as far as, why don't we try to do this or do no, forget it. I don't need that from Julius. I just need Julius not to be a distraction, not to be an issue outside of basketball. That's what I'm looking at.
And real quick, what he said too is that, the impact of Jason Kidd as a leader. One of our best seasons in the last 22 years was when Jason Kidd was on this roster with that veteran squad with Melo and Shup and stuff of that nature. And, we made it to the second round that year. I think that's the only time we made it in the second round in the last 22 years. And, there were some coaching issues, but there was no problem with getting the guys in the right direction and everybody playing as a unit. Absolutely.
Facts. Yep, Silver Surfer. That's what I believe RJ is and will be. I still think, I've been saying it, so I'm going to keep to that. I still think by the time he's 23, he'll be that. So he's not there yet for me, obviously, but by the time he's 23, I think RJ will definitely be a superstar. And the other thing I was going to say, yeah, you're right, because on that Knicks team, if the problem is we just didn't have enough. How do you say that? I want to say like we didn't have enough current talent, but I mean in a way like we didn't have really good young players on that Knicks team to go along with all those good vets that we had, because we had great value from a lot of those players, great leadership from Jason Kidd, Rasheed Wallace, Kurt Thomas, Melo was obviously but if we had a couple young pieces like a Mikal Bridges and some other type of, that team could have went. Who knows what that team could have did, because I felt like that was what they were missing.
Did we give them all up the year before?
We did. That's how it is, man. That's what I'm saying.
But Shep was actually very good for us that year.
He was,
by the way.
He was.
Yeah.
Big task at hand is in the building. I'm here. Yes, you are here, man. It's good to see you, brother.
What's going on?
Yeah, so you know what, guys? This is the point where I wanted to put this up real quick, because you know what? It's not that long. We could talk about it while we're watching it, D. But you know what? This is like, so this is funny, right? Because we're at a moment where I'm not saying this is it, but technically, if he doesn't play another game for the Knicks for the rest of the season, this could be the last we've seen of Julius Randle in a Knicks uniform. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but this is a possibility. So
something to keep an eye out for is that Donovan Mitchell is very unhappy in Utah, and I believe they're 6, if I'm not mistaken. in the West right now, and they could have an early first round exit. So keep an eye on that, see how that transpires. And,
right. And that's what I'm thinking. Like, I know people are watching. I think Pudge Nice said in the chat, I'm looking to see, I hope Utah loses. Yeah, I think we're all kind of like paying close attention to what's going on over there.
yeah.
Keyshawn, what's good, bro? Good to see you, man.
So,
Yeah, man, I don't know, but we'll see what happens. But I just want to put this up because you know what? This is some little view of some highlights of Julius Randle with the Knicks, you know, some of his better moments.
okay.
This is first year Julius with his athleticism. It's kind of mixed in, but you can see he was
I
aggressive.
like him going strong right hand there. That was nice.
He was aggressive though. Look at this, younger Julius.
Yeah.
He's got the hair there. He's a little bigger, but he's still aggressive. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. This is from Tristan Thompson's on that roster. Jeez.
Right. See?
Oh no, Drummond. My fault. Yeah, it was Drummond.
Yeah, man. I was looking at some of the guys in the sideline. I was like, look at these guys. Oh yeah, Julius was about that.
Yeah, Toppin was this. I must have been last year. Well,
yeah, Ntilikina was there too on that sideline. The Ntilikina's in the game right now in that highlight. Oh, court vision. Yeah. Look at him.
Yeah, and we discussed this, earlier. That this is not the problem. You could always get a guy to play more efficiently and read the double team better and work on his right hand and stuff. And especially he has to be willing to. It's a two-party thing. But we know
Did
what he's capable of.
Mm-hmm. Julius just threw an alley-oop to Mitch. What?
That must have been last year. Huh?
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Yeah, that was first year Julius actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like I think his passes were. Yeah, I just got a message from Bleacher Report. Randle likely out for the season. That's not a shot.
Yeah. I don't think it's the quad personally, but
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's the quad. Yeah.
But one thing he did very well last year that I was surprised he went away from was that if the background noise is bothering you, just let me know.
Oh no, good.
Is that he operated on the baselines very well last year, where he would go into about 2 or 3 dribbles. He put a nice shoulder and he would separate the space to fade away from the baseline. He did that very well last year. He shot very high. I'm surprised he went away from that this season. I wonder why.
I don't know if that's part of the change in Thibodeau's offense with Johnny Bryant. Like, there's some good things that Johnny Bryant has worked with him to instill, but there might be a couple things they took away that maybe were working specifically for Julius in the past. We remember this play was from preseason early this year. Yeah, that's the highlight mix of some of Julius's better moments. I thought that I would see a little bit more than I saw when I looked at that.
That was nice of you, but you made it sound like this is the last we're seeing of him, and that was like a memoir of by Julius. Yeah, right. You know something we don't know?
Nah, man, I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of stuff that could be going on, man. I don't know. It might be bon voyage, Julius Randle. I'm just saying it could be.
Got you.
But if this was the last we're going to see of Julius Randle in a Knicks uniform, how will you remember him? No, I'm just playing. I just they got set up, and I was like, yeah, this is a good time to use that, huh?
Everybody got their obituaries out.
No, man. I honestly hope that me personally, that I don't know if Julius is ready to change his mentality and mindset this quickly. So if that's the case, I think the Knicks should move on. But if the Knicks do decide to bring him back, and there's this is what we do, because that's probably what's going to happen. I hope Julius can take a good look in the mirror. I hope somebody sits him down, gives him a call, like Kenny Payne, Mike Woodson. Maybe they need to get together and take this dude out to lunch or dinner. Like, listen, Julius, come on, man, what's going on? Talk to us. Let's get it all out there. Let's figure out how we can help you kind of get through this, because you can turn this around still. And this is true. He can turn it around If he comes out next year, the Knicks put a couple different pieces together. The team is playing with better energy. Tibbs is coaching better, and Julius comes in with a better mentality. Julius could ball out. He could have another year similar to his most improved player year. But it's a lot of work from Julius. It's not that easy, man. Changing your mental is tough because once you get into bad habits and you look at the game a certain way mentally, that stuff sticks with you for a minute, man. You can't. It's not that people think you could just turn stuff on and off. It's not. Once you get negative, aspects or traits to your game and your mental, it can stick with you. So you got to work towards it.
I think also too that I think because of the numerous things that have happened this season with him, I think there really something really, really deep going on within that organization that we're just not privy to. And maybe it's something we'll find out in the off season or next season. And because it's, you could see it like with the team, like if you just go game after game, there's clicks, there's certain breakups of certain guys together. The chemistry's off with everybody. Something devastatingly happened this season, and maybe there's something we'll get privy to the offseason.
Right. And, one of the things that I've seen said by different people, and I just haven't had a chance to respond to it because I thought it was curious because, of his relationships. I saw a lot of guys say, maybe if Mike Woodson was still here, maybe Mike Woodson could have got through to Julius because he respects Mike Woodson, and maybe some of his antics that have happened in the past wouldn't have happened. Well, my only pushback to that idea is, regardless of whether he respects Mike Woodson and looks up to him, which Mike Woodson's a really good leader of men. He knows how to talk to guys and kind of get there. I mean, we saw what he did with Shumpert. Definitely saw what he did with J.R. Smith back in the day. Like, he was his pet project.
He did fantastic with Indiana this season, by the way.
Oh, well, that too. Yeah. I was going to say, Kenny Payne, Julius Randle loves this guy. He looks at him like a father figure. And Kenny Payne is one of those type of guys as well, and it didn't change anything that was going on while Kenny Payne was here. He even pushed Kenny Payne's arm away when he got hot and bothered and stuff was going on. So I'm just saying, like, if he does that to a guy that he respects like a father figure, what's really going to change? Who else can get through to Julius Randle at that point? So that's why I'm like, he was just gone. I don't know. Certain times when he sees red, he don't think about anything else except what's going on in his mind at that time.
Yeah, and like I said, to his defense, I really do feel something like really fractured the team, and it could be a number of things that we could theorize, and we could do that all day. But something really fractured, and I really do feel that's going to come out, and I think we're going to be okay, well that makes a little bit more sense. So have to wait and find out.
Yeah, honestly, we're not going to really find out until he's gone, or if Tibbs is gone, something will come out. But one of those guys is going to have to go. Yeah. And then if they both go, we'll get all the tea at that point. But
right.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the thing that, I just want people to understand and respect Julius as a basketball player, because he does have a good skill set. You can always get better, but for what he does bring to the table, if he could just get his head on straight and stick with basketball and kind of, he needs a Zen moment. Like, say what you will about this guy. As a GM, he was horrible. But as a coach, Phil Jackson knew how to get through to his players. Maybe he placated them and told them what they wanted to hear and made them put them mentally on pedestals. But whatever he did, it worked.
I could tell you one thing he used to do. Shaq said it. What he used to do was that he used to buy a book for each player on his team, and this book, to his knowledge, best described the player. And the players would actually read the book, and they would go back and they would build a rapport on certain aspects of that character in the book and stuff like that. And so he used to do a lot of techniques like that that would really have the guys thinking, build a relationship beyond basketball. And and have a connection where they could communicate and work through the issues and stuff like that. So yeah.
Well, I think the the Knicks need to find somebody like that that can kind of work with the team, not just for Julius. You don't got to single him out, but we know that it'll really benefit him. But that would be good for the team overall. Like, because I knew Phil Jackson did stuff with Zen and crystals and stuff, and tried to have these sessions where he got guys together, they meditated. I did not know about that. That's the first time I'm hearing that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think the best thing for Julius, honestly, just seeing how things have gone and knowing the New York market and seeing how how it operates from a day to day. I think a change of scenery is the best for me, and I'm being completely honest with that. And we could stink for the next 7 years. I'm just saying that what's best for him. I think a change of scenery would be very refreshing to him, where he's around a group of people that can counsel him and guide him a little bit better, because I felt those were the things that kind of they faltered with him this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what I think was best, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I hope that the organization as a whole decides that, let's look at what is best for the team, what's best for Julius. If we can make it work, then what do we need to do to make it work and make his life better and make the marriage between the Knicks and him work a lot better, if they decide to do it that way. And if not, then move on. And if they do move on, I want them to start prioritizing high skilled, high IQ type players. Even if we're not able to get that superstar, just get a bunch of high skilled, high IQ players to mesh on this team, and you'll see a good product at least. They'll be in a lot of games that you thought they wouldn't be in. They'll win some games that maybe you didn't think they had a chance to, because they're good basketball players that have smarts. And then you get to a point where you can sprinkle in some stars, and who knows what could happen. But I would rather see that first. So that's why I'm one of those people. We always have this conversation. People want quick returns, and they want a star now. I want to win a championship. I'm okay with us having a perennial playoff team again and getting and building to that point with smart IQ players. Like I want to see that. I just want to see good basketball.
Yeah. Hey, I got a funny question for you. What's today's starting lineup?
Oh, I don't even know who they have available, bro.
Let's see if anybody in the chat. Let me see if we go to the chat. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm thinking who.
Because shout out to Stephen Fox. He did tell me already.
Oh, he knows. Okay.
Yeah, but I want to see if anybody else is on it.
Honestly, if it were me, knowing that where we're at, we're officially eliminated. This is the time you want to take a look at teams. I mean, at the team, I would say. I don't know if Grimes is okay to play, but if Grimes
no. Let him be. Let him go on early vacation. Let him rest up. Let him rehabilitate. Get his knee stronger in order to be ready for next year, because we're definitely going to need him next year.
Yeah,
when he brings up both sides of the floor, and plus it gives him time to evolve his game. He's got to work on his ball handle. He's got to work on his 1-2 dribble. When they attack the closeout, they get it to his mid range. He's one of the few players on this team that can pocket pass. So you could put him in a pick and roll, off the curl type of options and stuff like that, and he'll make the right decision. So it's best to just rest him in the whole nine. Okay, somebody got it. Here we go. So wait, what's this one? Yeah, here we go. I think Louis Phillips got it. It's Burke, RJ, Mitch, Obi, Fournier. Why? You see, and this is what I'm worried about. Forget about Julius, just a player. This is what I'm worried about. Okay,
like why even keep Fournier in the starting lineup? He's got the 3-point record. He's good. The season is over. I don't know.
I don't get it. Why? And it's just mind-boggling. 5 games left in the season, and it could be a possibility that we might see Evan Fournier and Alec Burke play 30 minutes today. And I think shout out to Fox again. That guy's the man, bro. He told me that Deuce is out with a knee, which I said F really out loud, because I thought it was a game and a good opportunity for him to get possibly more than 20 today and really see with no pressure, just them, freelancing and seeing what he could do.
Well, honestly, that makes it really tough, dude. Because I'm like, okay, if Deuce is out, you got no Deuce, you got no Grimes, you got no Cam Reddish. Who are they able to play? Who's coming off with that second unit? That's no Rose. Like what?
Ryan Archicanato, anybody could say that.
Oh,
Shout out.
yeah, Archeakin, whatever.
You almost had it. You almost had
Yeah, yeah, him.
it.
I forgot about him. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
yeah. We'll probably see him and stuff like that. But
okay.
I can see Obi playing 30 to 40 today. Sherwin always loves to bring up the fact that Obi's a terrible defender. We all know that Obi is a terrible defender. No argument there.
I expect big things from Obi Toppin next season. I think Obi's going to get into the lab and work with who's the person that all these bigs go to, Hakeem Olajuwon, someone of that ilk. I don't know if Tim Duncan is doing it. I know he did a little of it before, but Dream loves to put on his little dream experiences for people and get paid that way. So maybe Olajuwon or somebody like that work on. I think that actually the way Obi moves, and I seen, say what you will, was the summer league, but the way he did that spin move, I think somebody like Dream could really work with him and get him to a point where he can learn some low post stuff that he can add to his game, and then maybe he can work on with his defensive principles a little bit. He's never going to be a great individual defender, but he can be a much better team defender.
You talk about Obi Toppin?
Yes.
Well, one thing about Obi, I'll give Obi this, not to give him crap, is that at least he tries. And you can see, like, he does, and it's like on some schemes he is just completely lost, bro.
Right.
But at least he tries, and I think that's something I think anybody could be able to work with. And like I always say, the average lifespan of an NBA player is 4 years. So hopefully he can start figuring it out before year 4.
Yeah,
because he will stay in the league because he is a a lob threat. Especially off the baseline cut. Like I said, from north to south, he's one of the fastest big men on the planet. That if he breaks out, he's gone. I've seen guards not catch up to him, bro. He's that fast.
Yeah, he's actually faster than I thought. I was looking at him the last couple of games. I'm like, yo, Obi be cutting it, man. So he gets up and down, bro.
Yeah. But it's in this league. How many guys like that don't play defense? How long do they last in this league? Let's be honest. So he's got to be able to put something together with that.
It's very true. I expect Obi to have a really good game today. I know that that may be like it's a wait and see, but I think Obi might get 20 points today, and hopefully do a couple other things. But I think he can get 20 today. And something he can build on. I really wish that stinks, man. I really wish Deuce was able to play. This would be a great game for Deuce, going up against and I don't know how much of the Cleveland team we're going to see. I know these are big games for them too, but they
don't have Mobley. And then Mobley will be coming back to like the play. And yeah, he's out with I think an ankle or something like that.
Oh yeah. So
and I think they had him out 3 or 4 games or something like that. So
yeah, Obi could really get busy. Kevin Love ain't staying with Obi, and
they still got marketing.
I
hear you. Yeah. I hear you. No problem. Oh yeah, I mean on a foot race, market is toasted.
Right. Salute to Guillermo. I see you in the chat. I bigged you up earlier, bro. I don't think you were here to see that. I just want to say that was a really good show you put together last night. I like the breakdown, stuff you were talking about with Julius playing the press conference and giving your takes on it. And I also like the fact of you incorporating certain draft picks, prospects that the Knicks could target when they actually do get a pick, wherever that may be. That was a good job by you. So once again, definitely salute to you guys. If you love New York Knicks content, definitely check out Legion of Knicks podcast for his weeklies, his watch-alongs, and all of that stuff. And Nick of Time show is here in the building as well. Don't forget to check out the Nick of Time show with my man Jay Ellis. I keep saying it, and I want it to be known. Don't forget, man, Jay Ellis is one of the pioneers. Okay, you know, he's one of the people that helped start this Knicks community outside of Sim and CP. You know what they did over there at KnicksFanTv. I think that KnicksFanTv just hit 50,000 subscribers, and so that's a monumental mark for them. But Jay Ellis was a part of a lot of that. So give Jay Ellis his credit, his kudos, and salute to his channel. He's got a good number of subscribers, but you guys got to keep watching. Don't just think because you subscribe you did your part. Keep watching his content. He's got great stuff over there, man. Keep supporting, man. Let's not cast our Nick podcast legends out to dry. You know what I mean? Let's not forget who they are. We appreciate you guys, man.
You're such a gentleman, Ron. Wow.
Yeah, man. You know, I try because you know what? You got to think about it in life, man. You want to treat people the way you want to be treated. And one day I hope to be a Nick content legend, you know, if that works out that way. So I would hate to have a show one day and I see like, oh, what happened to everybody? This is me talking to the screen. Hey, people, you know?
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah, not saying that that's what's going on with Jay Ellis. I'm just saying Jay Ellis needs a lot more people tuning into that, to what he's going on over there. You know, don't forget the people who got us here. That's all I'm saying. So got about 6 minutes left, man.
I was just going to tell you that too.
Yeah, you got anything you want to really touch on that you haven't had a chance to talk about in regards to the Knicks or anything?
I mean, we've covered so much this season, and you know, the one thing that I was looking forward to in these last couple of games was to see a thing of, okay, young guys, have fun. That's why I was really looking forward to, and of course I wasn't holding my breath because I already know who Tom Thibodeau is. But you know, it's still a gut punch to see Burks and Evans still starting, and for them to possibly be playing 25 to 30 minutes today it breaks my heart. Ron, I'm sorry. Look, I'm a developer, man. When I coach, I was a player's coach. I love my players having fun out there and go. This type of stuff breaks my heart. And so that was a little bit of a hit. But, I mean, you know, I guess we'll get to talk about it a little bit more. But, you know, this has been a crazy season. There were, you know, for a lot of people, there were so many expectations. And a lot of people had a lot of high hopes. And it's been a roller coaster, and it's between the team play, it's been between the coaching staff, it's been certain players, it's been the front office. Great question. What was the last time you heard from the front office?
Yeah. There's going to be, I would think this front office better step up and give us some information this offseason. They better get a little bit more vocal after what took place this season. I would think they have to. And I would hope that if Dolan decides to bring everybody back and rock with, which I think he will, if he's going to rock with all these people, then maybe he says, listen, I like where we're at. I think we need to show a little bit more accountability for what we got going on. So maybe start to give Scott Perry a little bit more of the lead with regards to speaking up for what is going on with the organization, because he's already used to doing so much of it under Steve Mills. They were talking every 5 seconds, which was a little too much.
Right.
So let's get to some happy medium. You know, let's get to a little bit of. We'll talk a little bit more about, you know, how because they have to give their end of season thing, right? All GMs do that, where they give the end of season thing about what the season looked like and then expectations for the next season. I would think they got to do that, right?
Don't hold your breath. Because, you know, and this was arguments that we had, well, not arguments, but contentions we had throughout the season, where it was like the front office does have a responsibility in order to tell us what's going on. And one of the evidences of that is that when the pandemic was going on, well, it still is, but you know what I mean? And there was nobody in the stands. Owners were bleeding. They were like, yo, we need to put these butts in the stands. And it goes to show you how important we actually do contribute to these teams. Small market, mid market, bit market, it don't matter. Right? We buy the merchandise. right? We go ahead and support this type of content. We buy the newspapers, right? We buy the cable vision, right? So in actuality, it actually is their duty at least to talk to us at least twice a year.
I
Just let us
mean,
know what you're thinking. Even if you're lying to us, at least give us something that we could work with so then we could
right.
build with that and see whether that came to fruition or not, or was it true or false, or yada yada.
Yeah, I mean, you're not pulling teeth. It's not going to kill you to just talk to the fan base and give the fan base a nugget here and there about what's going on. Even if it's that same business jargon that we hear all the time, the press conference speak that they do, whatever it is. I just sometimes I do like to hear from what they think's going on and show some accountability on their end too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Maybe you know it'd be nice for them to say, but I don't think they will. It'd be nice for them to say, listen, we had a plan. This was the plan. And then from that plan, certain things didn't work out. So we decided to go in this direction. They don't have to be so specific, but say,
Right.
hey, we wanted to build this. We wanted to get a high valued player, but things didn't present themselves. So we went with, what could we do to fill out the team? We need more 3-point shooting. We brought in Fournier. Do something like that. Like, give me something where you don't look totally inept and you're not, throwing dirt on your players that you did bring in, but you're giving us the right type of information that we need. That would be cool.
Yeah, and also too that if I was Tom Thibodeau personally, I would be pissed off at me having to take all these bullets.
Yeah.
Right, and he might have just popped that one day when he played like the whole social media thing and stuff. Like he might have just popped for that moment because it is kind of like disingenuous to him in a sense of that, and especially that supposedly your friend, that you would have him take all these bullets and have to answer all these questions time after time after time after time, and not, hey guys, like, come out here, catch some of these bullets too, because whether we agreed or you agreed or whatever, we still did get Evan 48 for 18 million. We still did decide to re-sign Julius Randle. We did this as a collective. So as I take these bullets, you got to take these bullets with me. And a little cowardice, in my opinion. You had no problem shouting out Tom Thibodeau during the trade deadline, but all of a sudden, when it came to asking questions about roster construction and what were your plans for these young guys and yada yada boo hoo hoo, all of a sudden you know where to be found. Real stuff.
Hey man, listen, I can't. These speaking facts right now. Can't argue with that. Let me give another quick shout out and salute to the guys in the chat that may have joined. Pudge Nice. I don't know if I mentioned you earlier, but always a pleasure to see you, brother. Coach Color Blocks, salute. Lily Phillips. I know D mentioned what you had put in the chat earlier, but I want to give you a shout out. I already mentioned Legion of Knicks and Nick of Time. JG, what's going on? Appreciate you. Good to see you. Kareem Grant, what's going on, brother? Worldwide L, I see you. Let me see.
What up?
Anybody else? Vaughn Allen, what's good? Yeah, I think I got everybody. I mentioned all the other names from earlier. So yeah, man, I think this was a good show. Nice, abbreviated, to the point. I think I got out a lot of my Julius Randle, stuff that I wanted to talk about. Thanks to D for being on with me and adding to the content and the value of the program. And
you make it easy, Ron. You're a great guy.
Thanks, man. I don't think I'm really going to talk too much about Julius going forward. I think that was the point of this. So
yeah, you ever seen those movies where like they shoot him and they're like, "Hey, bro, he's dead already." Like and no, seriously, I think that's a Julius thing, and I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. So as we go forward, we'll figure out what content we'll touch on with the Knicks. Hopefully, we can touch on just how they've been playing. I wish that more of these young guys were able to be out there. Grimes, I know, for the sake of what's going on with him, I'd rather not see him. But I wish he was healthy and Cam and stuff, because it would be really nice to see these guys out here right now. But it is what it is, man. So I hope that they play really good basketball today. The chance of them winning with Ryan Arcidiacono, whatever his name is,
almost
you know, being on the bench and playing more today might be tougher because he's not used to being out there. So this is if they use him. I think they have to use him, right? But so we'll see what happens. But thank you guys for tuning in as always. Thank you to D as always. I know D is excited because he's got a Knicks game and then he's got college basketball happening. So
and I gotta make time for the wife too. I know she want to get a little eat, so I got to do that in between. And then after the games, it's probably off to sleep grandpa mode.
Jam packed, man. Jam packed Saturdays. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Amani the Great, Minneapolis, what's going on, man? Good to see you, man. I know you just coming in now, and normally we'd be rocking for another 3 hours, but yeah, this is about to be a Knicks game, so we out of here, man. But thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, guys.
As always, like, comment, subscribe. All right, D. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, man. You know, and you know what I mean. Keep subscribing. We're trying to still get that total up. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Tell a friend who tells a friend who tells another friend. Still Knicks fans. We here. And look out for the Monday show, man. Monday show, we're going to do the weekly of what took place this week. And then NBA report later in the week. So cool. Take care, guys. Good to see you. D, enjoy the rest of your day, brother. Great show once again. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, no problem, bro. Anytime. And I'm out of here, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.
Hey.